welcome to the New Millennium Culture Podcast. Your hosts are Hurt Alert, Marcel Rivers, King 8, and Just Al. Every Thursday, we will bring you a piece of reality with information on Black culture, news, and sports.
And we live.
Body.
We here, y'all. We here tonight for a special edition of New Millennial Culture Podcast.
Yes,
you got Hurt _alert. We got King _8 here. You can follow us all on Instagram. Tell them. You can also follow us on Facebook, and we also are on YouTube. Hey, tonight's special, we wanted to do something different tonight. Capitol Hill special. It's been a great day. It's been a great day in America.
Right.
That's what you want to call it. That makes sense.
Great day in America, man. First off, we want to congratulate Senator Warnock as the first African American in the U.S. be in the seat of Georgia.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Shout out to his go-getter, Stacey. We just gonna call her Miss Stacy. That's Miss Stacy. Miss Stacy. Hey, if there was a question today, like, hey, is Joe gonna hire her or no? That's what we want to know. Is Joe gonna hire her or no?
Is that an open question?
What do you think?
I think he has no choice. Like, I feel like you have to, man. Just, I mean, I may have a biased opinion, but I feel like if he doesn't, we got more things to talk about than we already do in this world. Like, I don't see a reason why he wouldn't. What do you think?
I think he excuse me. I think, I can agree with you, to be honest. I agree.
I think he need to bring her on in. I think it has been proven that women are strong and the backbones of this country so far. Miss Harris as the VP, got Stacey out here, whom all are from HBCUs. Shout out to all of them. You got Spelman, you got Morehouse. They're making powerful moves. I think we're going to make a huge difference. I think we can make some changes, but I also think this is just a start for diversity and inclusion within this country. I think he should hire her in. From sources, some of my sources that I have, she's already told him no. From my understanding, from some positions, but we shall see. We just have to follow that. But today's topic, we're gonna talk about Capitol Hill. I'll take a drink on that.
Sure. Oh, but hold on. Before we even get started with that, we definitely got to, start on a lighter note for today's episode. And say happy birthday to Marcel Rivers.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I'm going to take a shot to that. Mm-hmm.
Woo, that stuff
All
I'm
right.
drinking. And Master Makeup.
Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark. Master's Makeup.
Man, listen, you gotta respect that, man. You gotta respect that. That's the wax cap.
The wife going to give me some Coca-Cola right now as we speak.
You don't need no Coke, man. Just drink that straight up. Put some hair in your chest.
I don't want no hair on my chest.
Listen, it's luxurious. I'm telling you, it's luxurious.
Yeah, definitely. All right, back to this Capitol Hill. So this morning, they had a pro-Trump rally.
Yep.
A pro-Trump rally, which was peaceful, and they did their rights. They had the right to protest, and Trump pretty much went out there and told his spiel on how the election was rigged and that they did some illegal things and that the election was fraud and of just multiple different things. And I mean, he provided some, he pleaded his case on some things, saying that, why he felt that it was rigged and why the election was fraud. And he said he can go down documents and documents and documents of paperwork. And through the whole 3 hours that they were down there protesting, he was just rude about certain people, calling them dumb, calling people stupid, just all types of things. But overall, man, they had a peaceful protest. He's definitely, feeding a lot of people things because he felt that there's no way that Biden could have got 80 million votes. Well, why not? Why couldn't he get 80 million votes? You ain't the only person that can get a vote. Black people, we vote. When we vote, we come in strong numbers.
Right.
That 13% that they put on the census is false because we don't fill out the census, which people don't know. We don't do the census because we're way more than 13%. And when you talk about people of color, we deep. The white people are minorities here in this country. So yeah, just speaking on behalf of our own people, we come in numbers. So, and we feel like something ain't right, we gonna go out there and do what we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So Biden could have got the 80 million votes. He could have gotten he could have won. You're not the only person. You stomped on Hillary back in the election, and nobody questioned that. But because you're being a sore loser, now you want to call everybody out and be stupid.
Basically, that's really what it is.
It's all it is. You're being a sore loser because he know that you were already impeached.
Right.
Wasn't he impeached? You were already impeached. They just couldn't follow suit with the next steps, which is fine. And I mean, we just continue, and we continue with the madness. And people, the big thing is, people aren't. What makes him a bad president is the fact that he allowed the racism to continue. You contradict. One minute you want to say something about Black Lives Matter, but then you say that other protesters that look like him are good people. They're fine people that's protesting. That's where things go wrong. Now, as far as policies and how you write them and all that, those policies and stuff that he's been doing, those been going down from Obama all the way down to Bush, all the way down to his dad, to Clinton. These policies aren't any different than what he's been doing. The big thing is the racism and the division that has been created even more and has come to light even more since he's been in office. So today we've seen it all. With him being a leader, it showed. His people followed. He was being a poor sport. Now they are being poor sports. They climbed up the walls, jumped into the Capitol Hill. And let's just backtrack. This morning they're doing the objections to any electoral votes, and they barely passed Arizona. They was doing Arizona because they objected that for the votes. So you telling me to get all the way to the last state, we couldn't barely make it because people wanted to act like animals or act like thugs and do things that they know they shouldn't be doing. So I just want to hear y'all thoughts on what happened today.
First and foremost, you can only be labeled a thug if your skin is brown. That's what I just learned today. No one was called a thug. No one was called a hoodlum. No one was called a degenerate. Nothing. There was no slanderous words given to anything that happened today. That's the part that, oh, what's up, Mom? That's the part that bothers me, right? Like, just it's an unfair playing field. That's my mom, by the way, in case y'all didn't know. It's an unfair playing field, and this puts everything on the table. So we've been saying everything from our perspective. Okay, we're seeing injustice towards blacks. We're seeing injustice towards blacks. Today, it just showed how much of a justice you have when you're Caucasian.
Is your mom saying that Capitol Hill wasn't it didn't go, the electoral votes didn't go through?
I think that's what she's saying.
Or are you saying that the electoral votes for them to object it didn't pass?
That's a very good question. I hope she responds because I don't necessarily know what she's saying.
That's a good question. Until she answers that, I'm gonna look into it right now
for sure. But just like I said, just the unfairness of it. I mean, we've seen Black lives been taken for less, right? And not even in DC, not on a day where you have a lot of important people in the city. I'm talking regular cities in regular states. So to have Capitol Hill stormed, you broke past security. And what? This is just okay? We're just going to continue to be like, no, guys, don't do that. Like, what's really going on here? Because you're not seeing half of the tear gas and concussion grenades that are used in everyday situations in urban neighborhoods, right? Like I said, this isn't even talking about anywhere near Capitol Hill or DC. This is just in general, where there's a gathering of Black people. Okay, you guys have to disperse. There's immediate aggressive force used. And everything that I've seen today was lackluster as far as any type of enforcement, let alone any type of aggressive force. And that's not even saying anything further than tear gas, concussion grenades, rubber bullets. That's not talking deadly force or anything that you would normally see when any political building is breached. This is not you were allowed access. You breached a political building. That is, if you ask me, that is an act of terrorism. Because you're breaching a political building.
But they're not being called terrorists, though.
Of course not. Not at all. So, like, to me, that's the part that really gets me. It's like, it's not even, it's one thing to say, okay, everyone else's lives matter along with Black Lives Matter. But the fact that you guys swept every other life, blue lives don't matter because you're not worried about their safety when a political office is breached. But like I said, we've seen Black lives taken for much less. That's the part that bothers me.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to look it up, but the current president is basically just said, "Be peaceful." Oh, but here you go. Okay, this is word for word. Please support our Capitol Police enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Peaceful. That's what he said. Stay peaceful.
You can't say stay peaceful after what we just saw. Maybe that's just my opinion, but I don't think after today there's anyone that could fix their mouth to say that there's no such thing as white privilege. I don't think it's possible. I don't care what you go on and say afterwards. He's been fueling these fires since the election, since the voting ended. He's been fueling this fire. And I just feel like you can't come in after the fact and try to save face when all of this directly stems from the actions that you've put in motion, if you ask me. You mute it.
I wasn't saying anything yet. I was sitting there reading the some of the comments on social media that states that Trump supporters, if you still are, should be a disgrace. And somebody stated again, man, got to keep that same energy all the way around. These radicals are on all sides. I'll say a small minority of Trump supporters feel and agree with what happened today. I don't agree and actually hate what I saw today. It is indeed disgraceful. Now, for me personally, reading that, it like irritates me because every time white people do something, it's always, oh, we all don't agree with something. But when Black people do something or people of color do something, it's y'all or you all or y'all know or and all that stuff. But when we say, just like with Black on Black crime, we say Yeah, we know that's the issue, but that's not a big portion of us. You want to categorize us in one area, but the minute y'all do something, then it's, oh, no, it's okay. Just like today, I know certain white people that are hardcore Republicans. There's nothing wrong with being a Republican. The issue is what Trump has done to make Republicans look dangerous and look like they're just flat out just ignorant. Is that the guy, I tagged him, and the guy went on there and was like, oh, there's nothing with them guys shouldn't be shot or nothing shouldn't happen to them because they didn't burn anything down. Huh? Okay, so let me get this straight.
Right.
When we peaceful protest, it's an issue. We should go do it elsewhere. If we block off the roads, it's a problem. It's an issue. Yet y'all just had thousands of people down in Washington.
In the Capitol.
In the Capitol. And Trump said it today. Y'all had people all the way down to the statue that shouldn't be taken down, and that y'all got a policy put in place. If somebody do take it down, they're looking at 10 years, and you got and the media should turn around and look all the way down and look at how many people it is. And you can't say it's a small percentage. It was thousands of people out there and thousands of people standing on that Capitol and hundreds of people that went into the building and created chaos.
It's
yeah.
I mean, yes, we understand it because we see it from the true perspective. But at this point, this is an outlet to really just reinforce the message for everyone that tries to act oblivious to it or act like it's taboo or it doesn't really exist. That's what this really is. It's not. I mean, we've seen it since day one. I mean, all of us as black men have been on the bad end of a situation where we did nothing wrong. It may not be severe as death, but we've all been there. We understand that, but this is really just us coming together for the message, man. Like, there's no way that you breach a political building, but no one should be harmed because they didn't burn anything down. But there have been multiple black lives taken, and there was no fire. So if fire is what we're using as the breaking point between aggressive force and not, then there should be almost no black death from an officer or an authority figure in any state, because that's complete bullshit in my personal opinion.
Exactly. So a big thing that I've been seeing is there was like, what if it was the NFAC or the Not Fucking Around Coalition? If it was them, what would happen? I don't know if everybody's familiar with them, but it's basically a all minority organization, and they are very heavily armed, and they know their rights. So I think if it was them standing out there rushing Capitol Hill, we'll have a totally different news story today.
It would have been an act of war.
Yeah.
Let the media tell it. It would have been an act of war.
Yeah. They wouldn't call terrorists.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm liking Mr. Dunbar's comment here.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, he said stand by. Yeah, he said stand back and stand by.
As I said, he been feeling this the whole way. He knows what he's doing. He's the puppet master. He's Geppetto, and they're just Pinocchio. That's really what it boils down to. But that's
right. Oh man, he told them to stay peaceful. Wow. We'd have been called all kind of names, and it would have been a war. It would have been a war.
Everybody want to talk about. You said what now?
I was just reading another one of his tweets. He's asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue.
So he had a tweet earlier before that. It was a tweet before that one that said, now you see what happens when people go against lying and cheating on electoral votes. This is what happens. And then that tweet got frozen where you couldn't respond. And now because it'll go viral really quick, which it already has. And now he has a new tweet, the one you just read right after that, to try to clean up what he said. He's not trying to recant anything that he said. He's already made his statements. He only has 2 weeks left in the office. If he didn't care in the beginning, what makes people think he's going to care about what he says now? Especially what he said at his speech today. How many since when has it been okay for a president? This is what I don't understand. White people are okay with a president disrespecting people on a daily. This person's dumb, and this person is retarded. And what kind of stupid people makes these decisions? You're the leader of the country, and people voted for him because he speaks his mind. Hell, I speak my mind, so I qualify to be a president. Fuck it, let's do it. And I'm gonna call everybody stupid. I'm gonna call every white person stupid. See what they say. This guy.
Hey, I'm not mad at it, man. I'm not mad at it. You gotta have.
Listen,
you gotta have a voice.
This is
man.
like we've seen, what he's done since he's been in office.
Honestly, man, I almost can't help but laugh at this shit sometimes.
Hey, that is
like,
my favorite songs he made.
It really blows my mind.
Like
bring me in. You get $1. You get $1. Everybody get $1 because that's what Trump just said today. He said in his speech to these people, "What's wrong with giving $2,000? Give them a couple dollars here. Give them a couple dollars here." To rich folks, $2,000 is a couple dollars, y'all. Just FYI. $2,000 is not even half of their check. It's not even a quarter of their check.
They get
period.
That in a day. Some of them.
And what he did today, he just made those folks more angry and more angry and more angry and more anger. Now you got the other side of people for this Capitol Hill adventure today. You got people who believe that this is conspiracy, that there are actors out there that are trying to create division between people. Now, conspiracy, I do believe some of this stuff, but hate is hate. Hate is hate. People that don't look like us been hating us since day one. Yeah. Like, there's no acting in that. There's no acting in spitting on black people, telling black people they can only drink out of certain water fountain, or telling black folks that they only can make it to so high in the political field or in their careers. There's no acting in that. That's real hate. And that when we're not talking about 100 people or 1,000 people, we're talking about thousands of people who literally hate the skin that I walk in and don't know nothing about me. And that's some of the stuff that we experience in today's news. Like, people say don't watch the news, but it was real. People climbing up the wall like this is Mario Kart or Mario and Luigi World. This is real. This is real life news that we seen. Yeah, it might have been just showing the bad stuff, but like I said in the beginning of this, podcast, that there was a peaceful protest that was going on. It was the aftermath of what happened after he left. But that was after Trump pretty much approved for them to be angry, to fight and fight and fight for what they think is correct. And no, that's not how it's supposed to roll. And the hate continues because it's believed that the Democratic Party is, all the black people, which it does show. It does look like that, the black people Democratic Party. So what do you think it's going to look like? You got white people saying, fuck the black people and call it a day. The hate is so real that you got people that's working at Waffle House that believe Trump is their savior. Let's think about this. You don't even make minimum wage. You make tips, which is nothing wrong with that. But you supporting somebody that you believe is going to be your savior, yet you're still in the same position 4 years ago. Let's think about it.
That's a fact. I will say this. I'm not going to allow anybody that tries to blame it on the media to get away or get a pass for that, because the media is always going to construe the story the way they want to. That's the same reason why the riots got 4 times the publicity that any peaceful black protest has ever gotten. It's that's just the way it is. So I'm not allowing that to be a pass as though, oh, you're only showing the bad part of it, because that's what the media does. That the media is probably one of the most equal rights places that you could ever witness in certain circumstances, not all, just in certain, because they're going to paint what is the actual story, whether you want to hear it or not. They may not show you the entire story, but they're going to show you exactly what's happening. Yes, you've seen all types of dangerous things come out of the black peaceful protests, and they turned to where they weren't peaceful. The same thing with this one, but you can't deny the fact that it happened. So trying to minimize that by saying it started off peaceful, that's not going to cut it, because no one would give us the same perspective when things turn violent. You don't get that same privilege. You are what you are, and you did what you did. You must own that. Period.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. For me, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I believe in right is right and wrong is wrong, or this is going to benefit me or benefit the community. This isn't going to benefit the community. There are some things, some policies that the Republican Party was doing that, benefited me, because my income is a little bit higher on the other side now. So yeah, I'm going to agree with some of those methods and some of those policies. Now, on the Democratic side, I have a lot of questions within the Democratic Party that I would like to challenge them on to make a big difference. Like prison reform, prisons, the system. If we vote all these people into the Democratic area, like Mr. Warnock, that's what can we do? What can we do that's different?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we vote for Marcel. Fuck it. Vote for me, man. Vote for me. We don't need a Democrat and Republican Party. We just need one country to just make things right. But instead, they always want one division.
So I don't mean to take this to a hard left, but let's be completely honest. Anyone that is even partially knowledgeable of the good book should know that division was started before we were writing things down. That's divine intervention. There's never going to be a united people. That's just not a thing. So I laugh when people say that, oh, we should just be united, because that's not going to happen. I mean, it has been fought for thousands of years.
Hey, y'all, I got this guy.
Okay.
That is hardcore. Not to mean to cut you off. He's hardcore on Trump. And I told him this other guy's debating, like, click in. Let's discuss this, And he said, as long as we can discuss, 100% he's down. So I just gave him the link. So okay. Hop on here. Like, we can talk, man.
For sure.
Let's do it. But let's keep it going and see if he really gonna hop on in.
For sure. I'm just saying, and like I said, I didn't mean to take too hard of a left, but I'd never expect there to be a unified people. That's not a thing. But even coming back to this, you cannot see equality until people can see themselves for what they are. And I feel like there will always be the ignorant perspective of what the masses are. And I'm not saying everybody, but if we're looking at the do's versus the don'ts, there are way more who live a more racist lifestyle than those that do not. So until you're able to look yourself in the face and say that, I feel like you're never going to get any closer to it. And that's just my opinion.
However you hold, however dearly you hold it if you're a Trump supporter.
So what? You got a ticker at the bottom.
Are overshadowed. It's not.
Marcel, you paused.
Nell, you got to turn your video on.
Okay, hold on. I just got home.
All right, I'm going to put you back on mute. There you go. Thank you. Or whoever did that real quick. So, yeah, Jeremy, I agree with you. Like, everything you were saying. This politics thing is serious. It's a real thing, and I think, yeah, it can break some relationships. you can gain some relationships, but it depends on how you take it. For me, like earlier today, I put on Facebook, like, I got a lot of people on Facebook who don't. I don't know if y'all caught it at first. I was like, they don't look like me. They talked about, Black Lives Matter thugs, this and that, this going on, and all this stuff. And I said, hey, I want to see people that usually comments on Black Lives Matters and saying this is right and this is not right. I wanted to see them say that what happened today at Capitol Hill was wrong. And that didn't happen. So I gave them 5 minutes and they didn't do it. So I tagged them on Facebook on the wall. Say, hey, you guys, you did it. And here goes Michael right now. Hey, what's up, Michael? How you doing? Michael,
hello.
can you hear me?
Anybody hear me?
Yes, sir. Hey, y'all, I brought in Michael because I saw him and John. They was having differences about what happened today, and I thought it would be good because we're seeing one side of things, and he sees another point of view. So it's definitely good to have different views that we can all discuss. That way, we can have a healthy conversation today and see how other people think about what happened today.
For sure.
Well, first I gotta say my phone's about to die, so if I just stop talking, it's not because I'm leaving y'all.
It's all good.
No, I don't agree with what's going on at all. Not one bit. It's actually kind of shameful to anybody who thinks that is okay. And there's a lot of Republican leaders out there that have been saying this for months, basically pushing those either radical believers or borderline radical believers to think that everything that they're doing is okay. And they think that they should be able to push and they should be able to fight. And now look what happened. It turned violent. It turned, into complete insanity. And I believe every Republican, Democrat, I don't give a shit what, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, sorry, but I don't care what leader you are. If you push your supporters to that kind of edge and they act on it, you can't be calling for peace because you're the reason why this happened. Obviously, we want peace. Nobody wants this. But what I'm scared of is it's going to start a civil war. The lady that got shot, I don't feel bad for the lady that got shot because, I don't think she should have been there. I don't think any of this should have happened. When you storm and you attack, the Capitol Hill, that's a pretty big statement. And this is the second time they did that in less than a year, because they did that back when everything shut down during COVID, when they're all armed with AR-15s and all that kind of stuff. And I don't believe in any kind of hate, violence, or anything. I believe the worldwide protest that happened with George Floyd was beautiful because everybody did it and everybody did it very peacefully. And it showed the strength of what one person, I'm trying to get my kid out of here. Come on, man, move. It shows what people can do when they work together. But get out, please. Rioting, violence, all that kind of stuff to me is too far, and I will not say it's okay. And I'm not gonna stand here and pretend like people don't have a blind way of thinking. If you are into politics, you can't be radical on either side, because that's how violence starts and that's how civil wars can start. I don't know about you guys. I don't really want a civil war. I got 3 young boys I got to take care of and a beautiful wife, and I don't really want to have to be a part of that.
So one of the things that I brought up earlier in the podcast, I was discussing that earlier, that it was a peaceful protest that they had earlier today. But I did feel that, Trump had moments where the way he was describing like how the votes were fraud, and the way how the voting went, and the way he just talked about people, calling them dumb, calling people stupid.
Yeah.
And that just fueled people more and more to be more angry. And I felt like after he left, it was pretty much like, go do what you want to fucking do. And then on his Twitter today, he put, this is what happens when you cheat or you have fraudulent in your votes. And I just felt like there could have been a better way to protest. I feel like he's being I feel like he was definitely being set up for people to go in an uproar.
Yeah.
And might say you spoke 100 on the thing, just put it up on the screen. But I just felt like there's a difference. Like I was explaining earlier, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, but I do believe like what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And I feel like today there was a peaceful protest, and you can say what you need to say as a president, but you have to lead. You have to lead by example. Everybody's going to follow you based on what you're doing. And I feel like Trump is that person. Like if Trump say, "Hey, let's go kill a bunch of motherfuckers," I feel like a lot of people's going to follow and say, "Let's go kill them."
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
And
for sure.
it's almost like a cult. It's almost like a cult for him. Like
it is. So I will say this. I voted for him in 2016, and I was like hardcore all about Trump, like hardcore. Like you couldn't tell me any differently. Like I was very right leaning conservative, and I consider myself now more of a libertarian. And this kind of started in late 2019, 2020, early 2020, where I went from, pure right-wing conservative mindset to kind of, learning about everything. And I consider myself more, like I said, libertarian. I don't know if I got to put a term on it per se, but no. And, even though I voted for Trump, this is very damning, and I do believe that is a cult following. It's dangerous. There's a lot of Trump supporters out there that look at him like he's Jesus. And I don't know if you've heard of Joshua Feuerstein. I don't know what his name is, but he's basically a Christian pastor. I got 10% battery, by the way, but he's basically a Christian pastor, and he's over here calling for all this, fighting and stuff. And I commented on his shit, and I was like, bro, I'm like, you're treating like Trump like he's Jesus Christ, like he's the savior coming down on this planet, like he's not fucking God, dude. Like you can't treat Trump like he's perfect, like he can do no wrong. You can't treat anybody like that. You can't treat any politician that comes into power like that, because that is where, like you would say, a cult following would happen, and it's extremely dangerous. Trump is 100% wrong and 100% to blame for what happened today. And if anything happens overnight, which it could, he should be held responsible for that as well. Same with every other politician or leader. They should all be held accountable, because even though they might not be on the front lines doing the rioting, they still are. It's like the big fat guy that sits on a chair and just barks orders over screens, and people listen to him. It's literally a cult following, and it's scary because, like I said, I mean, do you guys think that a civil war is coming? And if you do you think it's going to be Trump supporters versus like Antifa, or do you think there's going to be people like all of us who are right in the middle who's going to have to step up and do something ourselves?
I think it's going to be a full-out race war, to be honest. Like I was explaining earlier, you got all the people that are white, that's pretty much Republican, looks like. Then you got the Democrat that supposedly be for blacks, but you have a mix of everything. But it's kind of like split down the middle. And then you do have people that's right in the middle, like you, that's like, hey, man, I'm kind of moving more towards, the Democrat, but I'm still kind of in that middle area because I just want peace. And it's just going to be, it's just going to get real ugly. Like, it's going to get really, really ugly. And I hope it doesn't get there. I hope it, we just going through a phase as a country and we can just move forward.
Yeah. And I also said too, I'm also one of the few people that would say like Trump he didn't win, so he should just move on. If there is fraudulent activity, then let him work on that and find proof, and then try to work on that for 2024 if he finds it. But I think there might have been something small, but it's not on a major scale that's actually going to affect the election. I think there's voter fraud in every election. There has been since I've been born. I mean, probably before I've been born. So, but well, I'm gonna wrap up here. I definitely wish I could talk more. If you shoot me your stuff on my Facebook personal message, because I would like to jump in a little bit more. I love talking politics, whether you guys agree with my views or not, because I'm one of the few people that can talk about things.
So I see you got the Viking hat on. I definitely will tell you, our podcast talks about everything. Tonight's just a special that we did since it was kind of a hot topic, but we're usually on Thursdays.
Okay.
At 7 o'clock, but we do talk a lot of sports. We talk a lot of politics. We talk a lot of hip hop culture. We talk about everything. So yeah, I'll send you the link, man, and definitely add us, share us, and then we'll get you on.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for letting me speak, and nice meeting everybody.
All right,
I appreciate
thanks.
it.
All right, thank you.
All right, John, what's up, man? We can't hear you. Let me take your mute off.
What's up? I got
What's
it.
going on?
Not much. I just
Have we seen you on Facebook, right?
you see you see my son on there.
Yeah. So you old school. You've been seeing everything over time, man. How did today make you feel?
Well, it's simple. Today made me feel like we are not in this world for real. We're not in this country. We don't belong here. You know, you got Freddie Gray beat up, put in the back of a police car till he died. The police brought tanks out, riot gear, Black Lives Matter. We choked the man out on TV. They brought out riot gear, tear gassing people. They shot a dude 7 times to getting in his own vehicle. And it was people fighting with police today, and cops was running from them.
Oh, weak service, man.
Uh-oh.
All right, so back to the guy. I won't bring him back on if his phone being like that, but he was getting somewhere because he old school. He gonna probably spit some wisdom at us real quick. But
Right.
But the Michael guy, I mean, that was definitely a different. We definitely thank him for coming on. He threw me a curveball when he said he was going to he was switching over to the other side. Let's see if we can get John back on. John, you there?
I'm here. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, you gave us a spill on how many times people shot and people were killed, and you pretty much getting tired of the nonsense that's going on.
That's right. You know, the stuff that we bring up, the yelling and screaming and protesting, is because somebody has done something to us. They are upset because some dude believe that he still should have his job. You know, that's some basic stuff. Well, I should still work here, and you should tell them that everybody else that I didn't just lose my job. So y'all come here and rip up the Capitol. Since 1812, nobody has touched that building and rioted against it. But the police were running from these people entering the Capitol building, and one dude was busting a window out with a police shield. Where'd he get it from?
Exactly.
And only one person shot? No, come on, man. This is outrageous. You know, we walk around here, and just because of who we look and how our skin is, we got to walk around in fear. Me, I'm wired up every day. I leave the house. I got my guns with me. Anybody say incorrect stuff about my parking space or anything, get shot in the motherfucking mouth. Excuse my language. I don't know if we could curse on here, but I'm like,
we live, man. It's wrong.
No, you good. You good.
You good.
You know, this shit is outrageous. You come at me incorrect. I'm not trying to shoot one of us, and I disagree with that for many years, that too many of us kill each other. But shit, I'm not going to allow you to come in and kill us too. We doing a great job ourselves, just killing each other on just the hate and the jealousy alone. We don't need to be choked out by police officers in the street. We don't need to be beaten up when we're telling you, you're doing something wrong to me, and now you're going, well, I'm going to kill you too. And it's people climbing on the building of the capital of the country that open up outside terrorists. They going, oh, these people are cowards. These people are weak. Look how easy it was to break into this building and do stuff. So now we got terrorists probably plotting to come over here and bomb that spot. You know, and what would that leave? Mitch McConnell, the next president of the United States? That's all we need. All these old cats that has no idea of what time was. If you was 20 years old in the 50s and the 60s and born in the 40s, you shouldn't have that job. You shouldn't be in charge of other people's lives because you have not flowed with the time. You have not moved with disco. You have not moved with rock and roll heavy metal in the 80s. You have not moved with R&B changing up. You have not moved with the country movement of us advancing. You know, it wasn't until the 70s when they stopped lynching us, when they made it illegal to put us on trees and hangers in public. Everybody talk about Lincoln. Lincoln was shot because they was mad because they said he freed the slaves, so the vice president set him up to get killed. Kind of shit we live in. What the fuck is going on? And Mitch McConnell, Cruz is a disgrace to his Hispanic culture. You know, vice president, Pence, I didn't expect anything from Pence anyway. All the stuff he did with the homosexuals and stopping people from getting needles and AIDS medication. I expected him to do what he did. But this is outrageous, man. I'm telling you, people to weapon up. I'm not telling you to go out and kill anybody. But if people approach you incorrectly, I'm saying put their ass down.
Do you think so? Do you think today, before the madness, do you think overall they did have a peaceful protest before they before the outrage, or do you feel like Trump kind of like pushed the hate into them to lead up to that?
Trump fueled that. Trump said it on the 6th. We'll see what happened. He fueled that hate. He fueled that protest to get all wild. He wanted them to do that. I don't even think that was him talking. I think that somebody got his voice and monitor it up and put it on the loudspeaker. Trump ain't trying to calm nobody down. He want this. He want us to be divided. He want us to hate each other. He wants you to hate that white guy that lives next door to you for no reason, and that white guy to hate you for no reason. I grew up in New York. I know what he is. I know what his father was. This dude always been a monster. He always been a racist. This is his thing. You know, he didn't let no black people live in his building until somebody brought it up to his attention. Then he let one live in each building, so nobody could complain anymore. But
with the new changes going on with Senator Warnock winning senator in Georgia, and then you got Kamala Harris going into as vice president, and then you have Stacey Abrams in Georgia making huge accomplishments for the black community. What else what type of expectations will you have for them moving forward into these upcoming years for us?
This is my thing, as I tell my kids, I tell my boys and my daughters, I'm like, we have to run for office. We need to run. I love what Stacey Abrams did. You know, she it was a few votes that she lost to become the first female, the first black female black governor ever. You know, she doing work and she's showing that, hey, you can't disrespect me and get away with it the proper way. So I tell my kids, I'm like, run for office. You know, go take those spots from those people. The more faces we got, and then after we get in there and take all these spots, you know, we change that Republican Democratic stuff, and everybody changed over to independent. Then you have none of that. They have no power. There's no Republican Democrats.
Yep, Marcel for president.
Huh?
I said Marcel for president. You speaking exactly what I just said earlier.
That's
Marcel
right.
for president.
That's right. You know, I like Kamala Harris being there, and a lot of people talk about what she did in California and all that stuff. But you know, and I'm not putting no bad words on Joe Biden. I'm not pumped up about the old white dude being in there, but he is in there. However, I don't know if he's gonna be able to finish 4 years and stay healthy, and we might have our first black female president. So that'll be some stuff, you know. That'll be the way we need to change the world to get stuff that we need accomplished here. You know, more of us doing what you're doing, a podcast. More of us sitting up and having the correct words to say. The more we do and not hold each other down, the more progress we will get in this world.
Hey, that's a fact. I've been telling some young brothers, like, whatever field you want to go into, do it, man. Even if it is, law enforcement, or being a city official, or a politician, or whatever it is. But we have to get in those places in order to make the real change, because they're not gonna make the change for us.
Exactly. You know, and we shouldn't expect them to make any changes for us. You know, we shouldn't expect them to hit that gavel and make our stock rise and make changes. We shouldn't expect them to be like, hey, we changing this police force. We shouldn't expect that from them because they did something that we didn't do. So the racist cats came from England. They started dwindling down after they disrespected all the minority white people that they was calling the new niggers. They was like, hey, we look like them. They gonna stop messing with us. Let's just mess with these white people. And the Irish and the Polish and the and all of them joined up with the already broken racist system. And instead of them bettering themselves and all of us that was already put down join together and get stronger, they left. So that left it to us. And what happened? All of them as a group became stronger. The Asians get stronger because they can put 37 people in the house and nobody complain about who's getting so much money. They'll open that fruit stand, they open that Chinese restaurant, and they still have that love. The Polish, the Irish, all of them, the groups of people, the neighborhoods, there's no crime that happened. Like you go to a black neighborhood, you ain't getting all that crime in Chinatown. You don't get all that crime in Little Italy. You don't get all that stuff. But 12 of us can't walk down the street and see another one and be like, yo, I'm afraid of him. Afraid of him for what? He's black. You don't have nothing to say to me because I ain't do nothing to him. But press on. No, my number one thing was this. I like telling stories, so I got one for you. I was stationed in D.C., and in D.C. it was against military regs to wear your uniform out in public. And we lived nice. No, I was making some bread. I was good. So I lived in a nice, closed-off neighborhood in Maryland and worked in D.C. And doctors and lawyers and all that, black ones, lived in my building. And D.C. crime rate was outrageous. So one day we was having some meeting about the building and whoop-de-woo. And I was like, after the meeting, I was like, I got something to say before everybody leave. And I always got something to say before everybody leave, but they don't like it. And it was story time for them. I'm like, why you niggas don't live in D.C.? Because the only BMW and Mercedes-Benz they see is them drug dealers and not y'all that parked in our safe-ass parking lot and you grew up here. They said, you move over there. I said, okay. And I moved my ass into D.C. I grew up in the Bronx. First dude I seen got shot, I was 12. He was standing next to me. The fuck I'm afraid of my own people for? And I wore my uniform and I walked around D.C. and I talked to those little young cats while them drug dealers watch me. I don't have a problem with you. If you got a problem with me, we all got weapons. They ain't just make one and give it to your ass. But this little dude don't need to just see you as a role model. He need to see me too. Let's give him an option. Your option is you can be like him and live into your 20s and get shot, or you could try to be like me and go into the military and live into your 50s and 60s and 80s and 90s and not get shot, not run from the police. You know, we need to let the young ones know I need to come on here. I see you pop some stuff up to my son. I need to come on here. I need to let you dudes know that I'm watching. You're doing a great job. And you keep on doing it. And then the little dude that's watching you, you let him know, hey, you watching me. You bring him on the show. You let him giggle and laugh. You buy him a toy for Christmas because he ain't getting that. Because his dad's missing or something. But don't walk through life and not touch somebody and give them that Midas touch. Because it's in our soul.
You're definitely right.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. John, thanks for coming through, man. We definitely appreciate the words, wisdom, everything you talked about tonight. All right.
All right, thank you, man. Thanks for letting me run my mouth.
No problem, man. All right, now.
Hey, he definitely.
Let's go. He'll be back.
He definitely did some good points. Yeah. Wisdom is always key, and that's another thing we missing. And the thing about, you know, us as kids seeing different options is that's probably for another episode, but that is key as well. All right, Mr. Hood Politician.
Mr. Hey, that was, man, Mr. John said some beautiful things. He embarked on everything I was saying. Hey, I got one thing to say. Marcel Rivers for president. That's all I'm gonna say.
He spoke on everything that I was saying.
I'm just watching the OG. I'm like, man, he didn't say nothing better. He gave examples. He gave his personal life examples. The shit that he went through, dealing with racism and everything, and dealing with other young black people. Man, he gave it all. So that was beautiful, man. That was beautiful.
Yeah, for a fact. Man, we definitely need more wisdom like that, and that's, like I said, one of the issues with growing up in our neighborhoods. We don't have that.
Right.
I'm gonna say this. In my opinion, I feel like our generation is the most important, because whenever you hear those types of stories, it's most likely an OG talking to a young cat, right? And it's crazy, because if you're talking to an OG, them young cats gonna look at you like, old school, you don't know what I go through. You know what I'm saying? Life ain't what it was back then, you know what I'm saying? Where everybody could leave the door open, you getting food for a nickel. You know what I'm saying? So they need to see people who are closer in their age proximity tell them those same things. So seeing, those young black men who are successful, no offense, below 40, I feel could be more impactful, because we're closer in age. We've gone through some of the same things you've gone through, and we understand where you're going, versus talking to someone who's, you know, saying your dad's age. Sometimes you feel like everyone's just talking down to you because of your age versus what they actually know. So I feel like having someone that's closer in your age proximity will sometimes open the door to be a little bit more relatable. I know we spoke on this briefly in another episode, where seeing somebody in a shirt and tie, whether it's a program to help the youth or not, if I see you in a shirt and tie, I come in a hoodie and some J's, and I'm a young cat, I can't relate to you, because you don't look like me. Yes, your skin matches mine, but you don't look like me. You might not talk like me. I know you're not where I'm from. So, yeah, I see that you made it, but you didn't come from the mud like where I came from. You might have had, a jump start. You might have lived in a higher middle class area. So just having those people who are in the community that are relatable and doing those positive things, I feel like that's why it's so imperative to have that, because those are the people that the young cats are going to listen to, which is why you always see they follow the drug dealers. They're closer in age, they live around the corner, and they're older than you, so they can spit you some game. You need that choice, but it needs to be from somebody that they will actually listen to, because people are not always going to listen to the OGs because they feel like they're from a different time. They don't understand what's going on currently.
Yeah. That can be for every aspect in life. Sometimes people are not gonna, listen to people 60 years older than me. Life is totally different, bruh. Like, it's a whole different ball game, and some people are not gonna listen. That happens in every aspect of life: work, sports, everything. Certain things just time out. It ages out for some people, but the knowledge and wisdom, kind of like what you said, we have to pass it on in a way that the generation below us can relate to.
100%, 100%.
Because I know these cats that's in high school and college, they not gonna really listen to somebody they grandpa or great grandpa age, all like that. But they might listen to us because we not that far removed from high school and college.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At the most, 15 years removed from high school, which isn't that long. This Marcel look like, oh God.
I'm starting to do math. Like, wait a minute, that's
we
yeah.
I'm coming up
almost 15 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on 15 years. So yeah, I know it's real. But today was just.
I want to say one thing. Marcel, you brung the one cat on, the one young brother on, Caucasian, if I can say that. He really said some things that struck me. I'm like, man, it's real. He, you know what I'm saying? And he said he voted for Trump and everything, but he said seeing through all the things that Trump was promoting and he stood for after the fact that he voted for him, he was like, man, that shit, like damn, like, and that's I feel like a lot of Caucasian males and females. I feel like that's how a lot of them feel. But you know, you got to give them the platform to say it. But that's why I'm glad you brought him on. But that was nice to have some diversity. You know what I'm saying? And just getting a different perspective. You know.
That's because he listened to that October 2nd.
Hey. Hey.
Yeah. If y'all ain't heard this album, go listen to it. I got a few joints I got on my replay. that October 2nd go hard, you know. So yeah.
Appreciate that, man. I was trying to just give some insight and give it real. appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. But yeah, but back to that fact, man. Hey, I'm glad you had him on. That was real, man. That was real. That was definitely real.
Yeah, we definitely. So we gon'. Anybody else got anything they want to discuss today?
Yeah, no, not really. In addition, it's just today was just a big example of privilege in this country. Because there's no way possible that if all of those people out there were the same color as us, it would be the same result.
100% fact. It's 100% fact.
It would have been a straight out war on Capitol Hill today if that was us.
100%. 100%. That's the 100%.
Today just shows how far we've made it, which isn't too far, to be honest, in my opinion, from the civil rights movement. It still continues. It's just, you know, they play the game different.
Now, I'm gonna stop right there just for a second. I don't mean to cut you off. We've come a long way. I'm gonna give credit where it's due. We've come a long way. I mean, we've had a black president. We have a black vice president. We've seen tons of advancements in the African community. We have a lot further to go. We can't get complacent with that, but we've done a lot. I'm not gonna, discredit what we've done. For sure, we have to continue to move forward, and I feel that this is actually something that could refocus the African American community, because I feel we have gotten complacent because we're seeing people that look like us in moderately high places, not necessarily the top tier, but higher than what we're used to seeing. Right. And so, yes, I feel like we should look at that as, that's a starting point. That's not the end. We can do better, but I do want to stop you to say that I definitely can't let you say that we haven't come too far, because we've come a long way.
Now, okay, in certain aspect, yes, we have.
I agree. I say in certain aspect, yes, but like I just posted on Facebook, I said, man, it's been a positive day seeing everything that's going on in Georgia, and I told y'all hip hop was a big effect. Hip hop played a big effect in that Killer Mike, T.I. and all the hip hop. The big political hip hop personnel down there in Georgia, they played a big role, but that's something later. But I just want to tell you, I lost my train of thought, but it just I mean, I know what I was saying with everything that was going on positive in Georgia, we still got to deal with you still see the no cops. With the Jacob Blake shooting, like no cops, like come on, man, this shit was on. Like, so we came on, but still we got a long way to go.
For sure. Yeah.
Like how do none of these cops and this Jacob Blake shooting, like, come on, man, like this shit is ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. So I mean, we came a long way, but now everything is being seen. So it's and then cops talking about they ain't no body cams available. Man, bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
You know why? You know what that is.
And that's go back to, we came a long way, but we still got a long way to go. That's why I just wanted to touch on that.
For sure.
Yeah, man. It's still a lot of work to be done.
Of course.
Hopefully, these recent events get everybody back really moving into the direction we were in 2020. Because it seems like we're kind of getting back to regular life again, kind of, sort of.
Right.
And people are complacent. So hopefully, we continue.
One more thing. I didn't mean to cut you off. I did like what LeBron said. This what sets LeBron on the pedestal of Lou Alcindor and Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali. He continues to speak out, and his voice is real, impactful, and powerful. That's why this is what sets LeBron apart from a lot of people they like to compare him to, because of his mind and his voice. When somebody like LeBron speak out in the sports world, and everybody know what kind of following he has and everything, but when a person like that speaks out, people pay attention to that. People pay attention to him. You know what I'm saying? So I want to commend LeBron for speaking out again on a Jacob Blake shooting, what he did last night. So I just want to say that too.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I wasn't gonna say nothing about it because I was trying to leave it alone. But
the problem is, so we can go there. Cool. Whoever you are, I'm glad that you spoke. We definitely need more people like you to speak so we can respond. It looks like you're on YouTube speaking. Great. The big thing is this: we got too many people. You got this big battle right now. You got Millennial and Gen X's that's trying to make a movement and push forward. But then you got all these baby boomers who still sitting in these positions and won't let life continue and move forward. The country is ready to move forward and to be one, but you still got people that still live back in the 50s. Look how old Biden is. Look how old Trump is. Look how old Bush was. Look how old his father is. Look at all the people that are still in position in the White House. Look at the age. Look at what they're still trying to control. And look at what people are trying to do. The only reason why they approved the LGBT community for marriages is because that's a high-end vote and they're a strong community.
Right.
Period. And that's the only reason why. Other than that, they still got their same views from back in the day. Once we clear them out, that's fine. Now, when we talk about kneeling and being disrespectful, my question to you, whoever you are, if you're still there, how? How was it disrespectful?
No, I think you misinterpreted that.
Yeah, I think.
What was the question again? What did he say again? I thought he was bringing light to
kneeling during a football game was disrespectful, protesting. But Capitol Hill was empowering. Oh, I read it wrong. I'm sorry.
You read that wrong. Yeah,
he put it in a quotation marks.
Hey, look.
That's what
It was the master drink. You know.
It's due.
Yeah, I'm like, he on the side of he was on the side of like.
I was about to straight school it from left to right, like.
Right.
You're right. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah. I gotta shut him down.
Yeah, man. It's ridiculous how Kaepernick was. He was just his character,
pushed out of the NFL. Pushed out of the NFL. Say how it is.
Because he was being disrespectful, even though, and they never put it out there where he got the kneeling from. You know what I'm saying? They never put that part out there. So, because he was saying, no, you sitting down, being oblivious to what we doing is disrespectful. So I would rather you kneel. And that's what he did. So,
like I said, I was gonna bring this up when Old School was talking, because he was like, there's a bunch of people throwing a temper tantrum because somebody don't got their job no more. But it was a whole national debacle, and players are getting fined and threatened to be released for being upset that someone lost their job. Make it make sense. It's the same situation. Black man loses his job. Nothing should happen. Everyone should just go on. Oh, he was being disrespectful. Get him out of here. But there's someone who's legitimately being disrespectful to not even just Americans, He's being disrespectful to many different nationalities, but he still has support. You can't make that make sense. If you could make that make sense to me, I'd love to hear your perspective. But if you're looking at it apples to apples, you have one man that lost their job and there is a national uproar. And you have another man that lost his job and there is nothing but support.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying, "Oh, you're so disrespectful for kneeling during the national anthem, saying that you're spitting on the soldiers that are fighting for us," and it's not.
But that was the problem, though, King. I mean, interrupt. The people had lost when Kaepernick, he came out and said why he was kneeling for injustices against the people of color, and the injustice. People had lost that train of thought. They just all the media focused on, he's kneeling during the national anthem, and he said he kneeled because of the injustices happening to people of color, and the wrongdoing happened to people of color. That went out the fucking window because he knelt during the national anthem. He wasn't disrespecting nobody in the military, the flag or nothing. He said why he knelt. He said it, but that people didn't hear that. That's a fact. Fact.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, that whole thing did go out the window.
It did.
I will definitely say that's going back to what Marcel was saying about the people that you have in power, because the message always comes from on high, right?
The media, and you know who in power of the media, right? Exactly.
The message comes from on high. It comes from on a hill. So whatever they disagree with, it's gonna flow down, right? You're not, there were so many people supporting the whole kneeling act until it became an issue with those who were, at a certain level. So as Marcel was saying, if we start to see, the new blood come in, where it's people who aren't living back in the 50s and the 60s, you will start to see that change. Me personally, I don't know if I have time to wait for that. I feel like that's not going to happen anytime soon. I feel that there have been too many people who have been groomed in the same tutelage of those individuals who are still in those positions to take over whenever they relieve themselves. So I worry about that being, the right way to go about things, because I don't think that's necessarily going to happen the way we would like to see it happen. Me personally.
Yeah, but yes, I agree. We don't got time to wait, but I also see that we have a trend of Gen Xs that are starting to come into play. Kamala Harris is the Gen X. Mm-hmm. Now we got Warnock coming into position. We have the guy that won with them. What's his name? Ossoff. How you say his name? I don't even know how to say his name, but the other governor, they're all like those Gen Xs. And then you have us as millennials that's like right there with them. Just like we got the mayor up in Baltimore, the young guy, and we got a couple of judges that are young. It's people are coming up in being attorneys and lawyers. It's just a slow process because these folks, I hate to say it, you don't want nobody to die, knock on wood, but it's kind of like, damn, when is their time to come? I got you on mute. What'd you say?
Fuck away.
Yeah, like move so we can move forward, man. It's just
yeah.
Get them out the way.
I think there needs to be more strict rules for a term put in those positions, like it is with the president. There's no way you can tell me the president can only serve a term for 4 years and maximum twice, but you've had the same Supreme Court judges for almost 30 years.
Which shows you who's really in control.
Exactly. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I don't think that's something that we'll necessarily be able to change, but I think that's the issue, because like I said, you have people who can sit for, I don't know, at least 4 different presidential terms before they have to worry about their job being even in danger. Not even that they lost their job, just someone might have the chance to run against me and I have a legitimate chance of losing. So I feel like that's the biggest thing. And then, like I said, you have those people who are providing the tutelage to the next generation. So that's what has me worried, because they have the leg up. Oh, this is such and such, and he's from my alma mater, so he's got, such and such credit, or, he's from the Bush family, so we know his lineage, or we have this or that. So that's what worries me about getting people in those positions of power because it seems like it's so fraternal that it's hard to integrate at a quick pace.
Supreme Court spots are very important.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh,
yeah,
you absolutely correct. And they don't know the difference between good and comfortable, because right now what we're seeing is becoming the norm. These killings on social media is becoming the norm. Communication is no longer the factor because everybody is looking at their phones and social media, so there's not effective communication anymore. There's so much that comes between that with these baby boomers. That's why the baby boomers have to move, and we have to continue to vote. And that's why this next year we're gonna have to really start pushing more votes. And right now, I see some slow movement, but we got to do more. And that's why Anthony was saying, like, hip hop has a big contribute to the outcomes of what we can really do if we just sit back and listen.
Because a lot of youngins, a lot of them 18, 17-year-olds, they listen to Young Thug. They listen to Lil Wayne. They listen to a lot of artists, period, that got a following. So a lot of people listen to T.I. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people listen to, especially in them states, them states that got, that got push and pull on certain votes, and you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people listen to hip hop, man.
These politicians, they was going on some of these people podcasts and shows. Like Warnock, he was just on the 85 South show.
The Breakfast Club. How many politicians you just seen on it? That's a culture. That's a podcast for our culture. That's our culture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How many, man? It didn't been from goddamn Kamala to goddamn AOC to Bernie to everybody that been on the Breakfast Club. Only one that ain't been on it. Well, Joe Biden did a short interview, but all the politicians that been on the Breakfast Club. That's for our culture. Most of the listeners that listen to the Breakfast Club is people of color. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you want that vote, that's where you go.
That's where you go.
Or you could come to New Millennial Podcast and we can interview you too. Marcel for president. All right, man. We gotta wrap this thing up.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Whoever is Gunnar Allo, hey, appreciate you coming out. We'll definitely comment on your last one on YouTube. So we definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
If everybody good?
Yes, sir. Just remember tomorrow. For coming out to the special episode. I know it was last minute, but we had to today because today was just hectic. But remember, tomorrow is our normal podcast. We're doing a season 2 preview to show y'all how next season gonna go. So definitely come out tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, like, subscribe, all of that. What you got to say?
Talk about that. I just want to mention tomorrow. I just want to hear all the Ohio State fans chime in and tell me how we're gonna whoop Bama ass. That's all. That's it. I'm done.
We out. Man.
Thank you to all our listeners. Make sure you check out our social media platforms and our website. Follow, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with us. Please send us questions or topics that you would like to hear discussed. We'll see you next week. Peace.